Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Amanda and today I'm playing along with Stamp and Stencil Savvy and Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. This is a sketch from Angie. I'm not going to say her last name because I don't know how to, so I already started putting my two photos together, and it's my two kids doing our phys ed program when we were homeschooling, which was really tough to get them to do most of the time. But yoga was a favorite and they would do that, so that was good. I was looking at this close to my heart stamp and I was like, not quite. And I do have one background stamp. So the Stamp and Stencil Savvy this month was to stamp background or background stamp. I don't remember which way it was. So I am going to try and use this background stamp, and it is not going to stamp well, but I left it in so you can see that it's not stamping well. And then I'm going to change gears because, yeah, it is brand new to me for this one. So I might just have to take an eraser to it. I tried using my platform so that I could stamp it multiple times because it is new. And that middle part, it didn't matter what I did, would not stamp. So trying it again, not doing it. Okay, so I'm going to try it on this side. I'm going to ink it up really well and try again, like maybe it's just hitting funny on the paper. Still not. I'm going to add some foam underneath and try that out, and still not quite to. And then I'm like, is the ink is definitely on there, and it will not transfer those spots, so I don't know what's going on. So I'm just going to be like, yep, changing gears, play with that later, sort it out. And then, so I do have the Close to My Heart dance one that I was looking at, but this one is like the girl's upside down. My girls didn't do upside down. So I'm like, it's too frilly for what I want to do with the page. And I'm like, okay, switch gears again. So I'm going to use the Ali Edwards Move stamp, and I'm going to use the Move More and the Move and the arrows. I actually have an arrow stamp that I thought I had arrow stamp somewhere when I was looking at one point, then I couldn't find them. So, and then because I need this to be a repeat pattern, and I don't want it to be, I want it to be readable with it all the right direction. I've moved it over to a block. So I'm going to put a piece of the styrofoam bit underneath. I'm going to stamp this up really well with my 49 in Market. This is like the gray black. And then I'm going to stamp my background. So my background goes all the way around. So I'm going to go all the way up. And then I'll show you my little bit in the next column, but you see a lot of my head, so I take some of this out because I'm trying to get a good impression, which means I need to push over top. But so I rotate it down one line each time so that it's not exactly the same, but there is a pattern to it. And so some of the words line up, so it says move more. So, which is totally fine. So I'm going to put those all off to the side and deal with them all later. And then I'm going to cut off the branding strip. This is Brazil cardstock and it is gray. So, it kind of looks, I don't know, not quite white on the screen, but it is actually gray. And then I'm going to pull out some of my scraps from my counterfeit kit challenge, because why not? So in the sketch that Angie has, she has lots of layered bits, and the sketch is a little harder to see, but she also, in the Facebook group for Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, actually shared her layout really early. So I ended up seeing it and I was like, oh, that's what it looks like, because the pencil for her sketch was a little harder to see. So I used that as a bit of inspiration as well. And then I can make it work. So I'm using scraps, some of these scraps. So there's the kaleidoscope paper from Hip Kit Club, that's the light blue, and the swirly is that. And then this pink and blue and green are from Scrap a Sketch Printables, and that's from Paint a Rainbow. And then I'm just going to try and organize this so that I have enough to make a good block. And I do want some more of this Hip Kit Club paper, so I'm going to rip this one. I want the blue on the top and the bottom. Why? I don't know, because I wanted it. So I am going to get this situated for the bottom two pieces. And then the ones that are around the photo, I don't need very much because the photo's going to cover most of it. So that works out pretty well. I'm just layering them in different ways with different lengths for out. And yes, you get to see the top of my head a little bit, but I don't know. And that works out pretty well for me, and you can still see a lot of my stamped background, which is perfect. And then I just did decide I wanted a little bit more of this swirly paper. So I'm going to get some of it on this a little bit. And I do have one really skinny piece that I am going to glue underneath that top, because it looks like it's kind of in a weird spot. But the photo is going to go down. This is going to slide underneath. And I'm going to glue it. My glue doesn't glue. I'm like, so I do have to pull it out, because I didn't realize it didn't glue, and then it was like not doing what I needed to do. So there's my head again. And yay, embellishment. So I pulled out a couple of the thicker stickers. I've had these forever, and I thought this life is tough, but so are you kind of worked, because the kids really thought doing phys ed was a hardship, even if it was yoga. And then I've got the love yourself, because exercise is important for mental health, and either one of these kids have to remember that. So then I'm going to pull some of this out of, I think this is from the kaleidoscope as well. And so it matches that swirly paper and the blue, I guess. And so I'm going to pull out a few things, and then I have to go to an appointment, and I have to come back and finish. So, and there I go. I have to leave, and now I'm back. Now I'm in a pink shirt instead of a red shirt. And I did pull out a couple things before I turned my camera back on, because I was like, what I had wasn't quite working for me. So I did pull out these cork pieces. I think these are from Studio Calico, and no rhyme or reason other than why not. And yeah, why not? So put a whole bunch of this away, because I'm not going to use a bunch of it. I'll pull this out, which I'm not sure if it's Ali Edwards or Studio Calico. I did not look at the packaging very well, but this says Magical Ordinary Moments, and so there's some circle bits on the bottom of the layout and at the top of the layout, so I am going to mimic some at the bottom. I thought about putting some stuff here, but I have my clusters in a couple different spots, and that's okay. Sketches are for inspiration. I say that sometimes just to remind myself, but maybe you need reminding too. They're just for inspiration. Pull what you want from a sketch. There is no scrapbook police, is what I've heard lots of people say. So do what you want. Have fun. Enjoy. So the sun went up there. Put some foam dots underneath the wings of those butterflies. Trying to figure out if I want anything else. And I'm like, nope, that's probably pretty good. So moving my zoom out just so that you can see this a little bit better. And then there's some close-ups here, so you can see my stamping and all the clusters a little bit closer up. There is a playlist for Stampin' Citizen Savvy as well as 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. And I will link Angie below if I can find her social media. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you. If you hit that subscribe, the like, and the comment, I always get back to those of you who comment. Thank you so much again, and have yourself a wonderful day.